Hi friends and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Aber and this is where I share my insights. And today I want to talk to you about the power of space. The universe is 99.99% space, yet many of us disregard it. Another word for it might be the unmanifested, the formless, the void. Why would we want to turn our attention to it? Well, the fact that the universe is mainly space is the first place to start. And that reflects something important in you. Stick around. When I was teaching music, my main job was as a choral director. And I also played the pipe organ. And one thing I learned was that human beings do not pay attention to space. Musicians do, particularly singers, because it's the space which allows the vocal cords to resonate. And many of us are unaware of this resonance, this echo chamber. So, to have a more powerful voice as a classical singer, one where you can sing hours and hours and hours and hours and have this resonant sound, you must construct a little cathedral in your mouth. Like if you can imagine the uvula hanging down from that space. There's a pharyngeal cavity back around the vocal cords, which are surrounded by a lot of tissue. And the vocal cords are little tiny membranes that vibrate. If you took the vocal cords out of the skull or the throat, they would just sound like bzzz. They wouldn't even hardly sound. So what amplifies them is the arching of the soft palate. You can imagine where the esophagus and the back of the tongue and the soft palate all come together in a housing. And those with more space can create the resonance or the chamber through which the voice can then be amplified. And the same principle applies in orchestral instruments. So when I work with choirs, in order to get them to sing with a rich sound, I have to draw their attention to the creation of space all in here. Not tension, but a natural arching of the soft palate and a relaxing of the larynx so as to not to grab the vocal cords and create what would be called shouting. And shouting doesn't go quite as far. So I would often talk to my young singers and say, well, what's on the inside of a guitar? Nothing. What's on the inside of a violin? Nothing. And as it pertains to the pipe organ, what's inside of a pipe? Nothing. So if we talk about pipe organs, for example, a pipe is a whistle. Just a little, if you can imagine a little police whistle or something like that. Air passes over a little mouth and it gives you a vibrating sound. So when you build an organ, you want to increase the diameter of the pipe to get a nice resonant, rich. It's funny how we call it rich, because there's nothing in it. A rich sound has nothing in it except sympathetic vibrations in the ether. So a pipe organ is also part of the room that it's in. So if you've ever been to an opulent cathedral, say in France or England or something, it's got a cavernous, empty space. So where the sound is being produced from this little tiny, it billows and develops into the echoing chamber of the cathedral. So the pipe organ is very much part of the room. So there's several factors, but in a simplified way, you have generous scalings, meaning the pipe itself has got a large diameter. And then the pipes are in tune with one another. So if you tune two pipes together, there's this, it amplifies it even more. So when something's in tune, it sounds louder. It's like it all of a sudden becomes a rainbow of sound. Now, you those of you who know something about music, you'll understand how this works. And to further amplify and to create sort of a powerful sound, the pipe organ has to be in this opulent resplendence. And you realize this about yourself, that the universe is an echo chamber, reflecting back to you the illusion of multiplicity. It's like going into a valley and singing, hello, 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 hello. And you hear that coming back to you. And developing spaciousness is the idea of something removing itself from the misalignment. There is this feeling of me that I've been talking to you about if you've been watching my channel. That gets in the way of the freedom to amplify and to create something really profound and impressionable in the world. It would be like taking a cathedral or something, or a big large room, or the space here, and spraying foam in it, or putting drapes or carpet or a low ceiling. And so there's a sensation of me trapped inside of an otherwise spaciousness. I've talked about this before. Spiritual awakening is a dilation of sorts. It's a physical expansion of awareness, where the separate me isn't low under a ceiling, draped in emotion, cluttered with thinking. You see, in music making, we have to clear the space. In spiritual awakening, you want to clear the cobwebs of the mind. And that then frees you, the real you, to come through that space as the eminent source. So you realize that what you send out comes back to you, like an echo chamber. In Corinthians, Paul talks about the most famous passage of love, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Again, I must say I'm not a Christian, but I think lots of great wisdom comes from the New Testament. So I'm just quoting this as a great source. He says that we look into the mirror dimly. This is a wonderful way of explaining that a lot of people are in the way of, this is how he says, you got to get out of your own way. I never understood this. Getting out of your own way is this very solid and absorbent me, that everything's happening to me. And it's this feeling of a limit, a low ceiling, a cluttering mind where the sound and the resonance and the resplendence is not open, a closed heart, limited potential. And really what you want to do is to occupy a more spacious, it's just a feeling, friends. This is just feeling. I'm trying to put into words what it feels like to be spiritually free. A large cathedral, which has nothing in it. You, the sensation of me as a separate entity has cleared. See, this is the word sin in Christianity. Ignorance. Thinking that you are some occupant inside of the body moving it around. And you're not. There is no separate individual. That clears out of the way. And then there's a resonance into the echo chamber. And what you realize is you get real careful as to what you think, say, and do. Because it's hello, 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 hello. Even when you say things like, she's a bitch. What you're saying is, you say, she's a bitch, I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch. it comes back to you. The I am has somehow obscured itself and created an image of itself that throws itself out into space and comes back in. So the I am embodies whatever you say it to be. Whatever you believe and feel that you are, it's going to come back in a reflection. You see. This is hard to explain to people, but if you have some kind of knowledge of music, you'll understand space and how important it is to keep that space so that you can be careful about what you think, what you say. You clean up your act. Trust me. When you start realizing all of it's coming back to you like a boomerang, you clean up your act. You sin no more. You do not say bad things. You do not engage in compulsive behaviors anymore. It just dissolves. The separate me, the compulsive, impulsive ego starts to disappear. And what's left is nothing. There's nothing. You don't feel like there's anybody home. You're in that flow state. There's no more observer observing. There's no more seer seeing. There's just seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling. And it's just this wonderful non-judgmental thing. So when you do take an action, you take an action out of love. So you no longer think anything's missing. It just rebounds. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. YouTube is an echo chamber. That's all. I'm not going to get on here and rant and rave, although it can sound like maybe that's what I'm doing. But I'm trying to send out a certain message that you and I are no different. It's just the universe. That the words you're hearing, although they may sound like they come from me, that you're constructing them. See, that's the thing. You're the source of it. And the source of it coming back to you, so-called coming back to you, is also you. There's only one source. It feels like it's an echo chamber coming back, but it's you somehow generating all of it. And that spaciousness is key. That the universe is a reflection of you. If you want to know how well you're doing, your life is showing you. And everybody in your life is showing you a part of you that you can't see. Isn't that neat? Even the so-called people who are mean to you, they're showing you something. My greatest spiritual teachers have been the people that have shown me the most difficult things about myself. So it's spaciousness. That's how you get out of your way. When you realize you are the way, Jesus said, I am the way, you're the way too. But first of all, we got to clear what's in the way. The clutter. A mind that won't shut up. A body that's so tense. A draping fear, a limit, a low ceiling. So when you talk, it goes... It's like percussion. Paul said you're a clanging cymbal. When you, the separate entity, clear, hello, 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 you start sending out better things from within this centrality, this invisibility, which comes back to you in a chamber of space. That's why space is important, because it'll resonate. And what you send out into the universe will keep echoing, particularly if it's out of spaciousness and love. That's what you're going to find. When you, the ego, clears out of the way, the drapes, the carpet, the heaviness, then your voice resonates, your spirit resonates, your gifts resonate. And your mind is empty. That's the key. Your mind is completely clean and clear. And the obsession with the future goes away too. See, the separate self is generated by fear of the future and a recollection of the past. And when that's no longer held up in the air in the spaciousness of your mind, you get this wonderful opulence and resonance. So when you speak, it comes from clarity, from love, from love, from love, from love, from love. It's cool. It's cool to get out of your own way and to be the way. Okay, so let's contemplate spaciousness. A lot of this, for those of you who feel like you're on the path and you want to clear the cluttered mind, a lot of this is be still and know and experiment with catching the mind open and clear like that. Catch yourself being in that wonderful space, and it will uplift you. This is transcendence, which is a hard thing to talk about. But from that, whatever you say and do will be amplified naturally, effortlessly. Because essentially you're the effortless being that is cluttered with the human, the limited human. And the limited human's got to go. There's something so much more resplendent once the separate self diminishes. Does it ever totally go away? I don't know. I can't walk through a wall yet. Maybe one day I'll be able to walk through a wall. Who knows? But in the meantime, I'm going to keep focusing on that emptiness and that spaciousness that really is joyful. Okay? I appreciate you watching. Those of you who have been watching regularly, thank you so very much. If you think any of these insights can be helpful to people who are suffering, and please share it and tell your friends to subscribe. My name is Ryan Adair. Please check out my blog. It's called mymorningmotivator.com, and hopefully we'll see you soon.